Long ago, humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember, and they do not forget. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about our book club book. During the month of July, we read Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. This was a Dragon Rider fantasy series. It's book one in the series. I think it's either going to be a duology or a trilogy. I have a few notes with me on my iPad that I wrote down earlier just because of my ADHD fish brain. First, I'm gonna read a little description on the back of the book because this is what got me hooked, okay? I went into Barnes & Noble to pick a book for our July book for book club. I had some options picked out. Originally, I had done like some polls about the book that we would do, and then it ended up being a tie, so when I went to Barnes & Noble to look at the books, I thought, oh my god, you know, one of the books was so long, and then the other book I think was also pretty long, and I ended up stumbling across this book, which happens to be for Barnes & Noble. It's their July speculative book of the month. So, you know, I read the back of the book, and I was just like absolutely fascinated by it, and I'm gonna read that to you too, word for word. Word for word. Just the first part. This is just what really got me hooked. It says, long ago, humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember, and they do not forgive. Like, are you kidding me? That is tea. That's tea. Who is this book for? This book is for anybody who is looking for a book that centers around a prophecy, a book that has a heist. We love a heist. A forbidden romance, okay? They can't touch. They can't touch. If they do, something happens. It's crazy. And you know, maybe you want a shape-shifting dragon. I went into this book thinking like, okay, there's just like a dragon, right? I didn't think it was about a shape-shifting dragon. So if you're looking for something that is like Dragons, Riders, which I do think that's going to be a part of the next book, which we'll get into. I'll explain more of that, but I think if that's what you're mainly looking for, you're not going to get that, because for most of this book, the dragon is stuck in a human form. Some of the tropes. I think this book has some really great tropes going for it. Forbidden romance, like I said, slash a slow burn, right? Because the two main characters, they can't touch. Okay, there's a heist, which we also talked about. There's a prophecy, but there's also like chosen one vibes, you know? Like very much like he will save us all. Another trope is betrayal. There are multiple betrayal plot lines, which I should have seen coming but did not. Yeah, so some of the themes in this book are consequences. That's a big, big theme that comes up. Consequences of your actions, you know, how you cope with those consequences, how you move forward with your life. Also, fate is a big one, which we had talked about, the prophecy, fate. And then there was a lot of discussions of trust, and I think those trust and the consequences kind of played hand in hand. There were certain aspects of like rebuilding of trust, losing trust, topics of like morality. Now that we've talked about some of the themes, the tropes, overall vibe of the book, I want to show you my annotating tabs, which feels very personal. I'm just going to show you my system, right? So it's like, and this is the first time I annotated a book, I believe. So it took a lot for me to like build up the courage to write in my book, but I did it. And I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling like, wow, I got to put down my thoughts on the page, which was really nice. So I put my like tab descriptions on just like whatever page was kind of blank at the beginning. So a few of my tabs were, and you know what, this might change for you over time based on what you're kind of like picking up from the book, right? What you're interested in writing about and annotating, marking, whatever. So mine were characters plus like the development of characters, character development, quotes, which that one probably was the one that I used the least, right? So the ones that I used the most were the character development, and then also I tabbed anything with mentions of the prophecy or instances of fate. So that worked for me. Those might not work for you. There's also one more that I did, and that was romance. And that could be romance, cute little moments, relationships in general. There's a lot that you could do. Let me show you right now some of the supplies that I got from Amazon. So for this book, for Dragonfall, I used a few different annotating tools. I got this Stabilo highlighter from an Amazon. These are the tabs that I got from Barnes & Noble. They're called Translucent Sticky Notes by Molly and Rex, and it says that there are 20 sheets per pad. You're gonna run out of these very quickly, especially if you do read a lot of books. Next, from Barnes & Noble, I got the Zebra colorful pens, metallic gel. I really like those. Those are good. Oh, I'll have to show you my favorite pen as well. And then also from Barnes & Noble, these are from the Paper Source. They like merged. It's a packet of sticky notes, and I've been using these in the books. I've been using them to write my to-do lists. It's great. Yeah, so those are a few things I got from Barnes & Noble. Let me just show you one more thing. I also got this pen. It's one of those like 0.5 pens, so it's very thin, which I like. I've been using it for everything. And then I was saying I got this highlighter from Amazon. That was good, except fucking bled through my book. So it wasn't supposed to do that. I don't know if the page is just thin. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal, really. I mean, it's not the end of the world if it bleeds through my book, as long as it doesn't like smear the ink or anything. It's not that big of a deal. And then from Amazon, I got these tabs, which I can open them up and we can go over some of the colors. But right now, oh, I should mention, this is not the book I have right now. This is not our book of the, God, I only used one tab so far. Oh, okay. So I'm reading this book. I might redo some of the tabs. Just because I feel like these colors aren't like distinctive enough, but I just grabbed them because they were the only thing that I could find, and I was too lazy to wait for it from Amazon. But let's look at some of the colors I got. I haven't opened this yet because I'm really excited to. Oh, they're not even open. You know what? I thought they were loose in there. That's not a big deal. We'll go over those another time when I'm ready to do like, maybe we can do like an annotating with me video. I'm getting a desk soon. Some of my personal thoughts. I think that this book can be a little bit hard to get into. I think that the first 50 pages of this book were a lot of info dumping, a lot of world building. I like world building. I like the info dumping, but if you're someone who's like, you just want to like jump into it right away, I don't know if this would be for you. I think that this is just like very slow paced. I think the pacing at times could be a little bit slow. It was a little rough. Overall, I really liked the book, especially the ending, which I'm getting ahead of myself, but we'll get there. I also feel like the book was a little bit difficult to follow because of how many different persons were in the book, right? The book switches from first to second to then like multiple different third person point of views. which can be a little bit rough. I don't think it necessarily made for like a smooth journey reading wise, especially if that's not something that you're used to, or maybe you don't like reading in one of these persons. Like maybe you don't like second person, maybe you don't like third person. That can make it a little difficult. So we have two main characters. We have Everen, who is the last male dragon, okay, and he is a dragon shifter. So when the book first starts, we see him in his world because the dragons have been banished. Like hundreds of years ago, the dragons were banished to this other world after the humans stole all of their magic, okay? This other world is dying. So they're getting kind of desperate, right? They really want revenge on the humans. They're so desperate, and Everen is the last male dragon to hatch. He knows that there's something about a prophecy, right? He knows that he's involved somehow. So he thinks he's going to kickstart it by flying into a storm, right? So he like flies into this storm, and that's kind of where Everen's story starts. Our second main character is called Arcady. And Arcady is a thief who is kind of like living in the streets. They have their own space. They live in this kind of like old shop. I think it was like a locksmith. Arcady like is desperately seeking revenge. Arcady is down in these tombs casting a spell. So while Arcady is casting this spell, they accidentally bring Everen, who is stuck in this storm, right? Just trying to kickstart the prophecy. They bring Everen into the human world. They don't know that they've brought Everen into the human world. They're in the same room with each other, right? But I think it's dark, you know, nobody really knows what's going on. And another problem is that this magic system is so unique, okay? It's so unique. When someone uses their magic, if they like deplete themselves too much, they are like starved, right? They are so hungry. And so it can turn them into this kind of like monster. I guess the way that I pictured them was kind of like a zombie, right? It's like they're so hungry, and they're called starvelings. So it's like they'll do anything to eat. And some of the crazy ones start to really lose it, and they eat people, I believe. Arcady is kind of hitting like they've casted this spell. They brought this dragon into their world. They don't know it yet though. And this dragon, by the way, this dragon's thoughts are psychotic. They're like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill this filthy little human, okay? They have no respect for these humans. They hate humans, okay? Dragons hate humans because they banished them, took all their magic. I get it. But so at this point, Arcady doesn't know that there is somebody in the room with him, let alone a dragon, right? And so they have used so much of their magic that they are like totally depleted. And they think that this transition into starveling is gonna happen, but they can put off that transition by eating food, drinking water, whatever. Arcady packs it up, gets on with it, right? Arcady leaves this place. And then they're separated for a while, right? I would say for like 40-ish pages after that, they're separated. And we're seeing, what I really liked about this book is that we're seeing the world building through Everen's eyes, because they're like a tourist, okay? They've never been to this place. Everen's never been. He is like very much seeing this world through fresh eyes. And that's really cool. Like we get to see, I especially love the part where he starts like working at the docks. I think that that's really interesting. I like that they show that how he is like kind of copying their mannerisms. He's observing humans, because he's super suspicious when he first gets there. Like there are people who are like, what's up with this guy? He's stolen some clothes off a line, you know. He's wearing pants that are too short. He's in capri. He's in this weird cloak thing. It's not a look. Sorry, I am so itchy. I'm so itchy. I'm like covered in hives. I have a hive here. I had this hive since yesterday. It's driving me nuts. I'm so itchy. It's like making me crazy. I don't know what it is that's making me so itchy. but both my boyfriend and I have been breaking out in hives for like 2 weeks now, and it's making me like actually go insane. Anyway, let's try and push forward, and I can't keep thinking about it because it's just, I'm like, I need to take a Benadryl. Something happened when Arcady cast the spell that brought Everen into this world, right? It somehow formed a bond between the two, and we find out that long ago, when humans and dragons lived in peace, that there were like dragon riders, whatever, they had this bond, right? It was like this bond, probably like any other bond you would see like in Game of Thrones. The part about the bond is like very confusing. There are parts of this book that are very confusing, but I think it's set up like that on purpose, right? I do think it all ties together in the end, and I can appreciate, if you're willing to stick it out, I think you can appreciate a book that really like wraps it up in the end, right? Everen, you know, the dragon, he kind of gets his bearings, he gets settled in, he gets in contact somehow through a portal with his family back home. And this family back home is a matriarchy, right? So his mother is the queen of the dragons, and his sister is like the future queen, right? So there are many point of views in this book, I should mention. You know, we get 1 or 2 chapters of the sister, but there are many characters where we get, I would say there's maybe like 5 or 6 different point of views, which I actually liked it. I know I'm one to not like multi-point of views, but I liked this. So Everen like really, like, these dragons hate the humans. Like, their ultimate goal is to like get back into this world, take revenge, rule over all of them if there's anybody left to rule over, because they're just planning on killing them all anyway. That's how much they hate them. So, that's the ultimate goal, right? And Everen believes he is like going to be fulfilling some sort of prophecy by being there. You know, his family is telling him, his family's really nailing in the whole prophecy thing. They're nailing in that he's the chosen one. They're nailing in that if he doesn't do this, 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 and this, that none of this is gonna work out, whatever, right? So it's very much chosen one vibes. You're going to save us all. He's gonna save us. The last male dragon is gonna save us. We're all saved, right? We get to go home, and then we get to murder a bunch of people. While the 2 main characters are separated before they meet for like the first 50 pages, it's kind of hard, and even after that, even after they meet, it's a little bit difficult to tell where the plot is going, right? Like, you don't really know. It's kind of just, they're figuring it out, which I kind of liked, but I also think that kind of made it slow paced at certain points. And our characters meet, and I thoroughly enjoyed their meet cute. I thought it was hot. Absolutely love them. Arcady takes the dragon. Well, basically, Everen lets Arcady take him back to his house, because this bond has formed, and he knows that he needs to find this person, right? He doesn't know who it is. He just, you know, got their vibe from that night with the spell, when the spell was cast. So they finally meet. They go to Arcady's house, and Arcady is like, you're gonna help me. You're gonna help me pull off this heist, okay? You're gonna do as I say, right? And for most of the book, Everen is like stuck in this like humanoid form. The way that he's described, he doesn't totally look human. So Arcady not like picking up on that in the first place, and people are looking at him like, people, when he first gets there, he's got to try and blend in really quickly, because people are kind of like, who is this person, if they're a person? So that's all happening, right? We meet some people from Arcady's past trying to get this group of people together to pull off this heist. And so that is what a lot of the book is, up until the end, where like the heist actually happens, and it does happen very quickly, right? I kind of felt like that part was like anticlimactic. I don't want to say too much, because I don't really want to like spoil it, so I feel like we're wrapping it up here before we jump into our discussion questions. But yeah, I think it was a really great book overall. I do think like the plot It was a little bit slow at times, but I think I see the vision here. I see the vision. I see the bigger picture. I see how it all tied together in the end. Obviously, I still have some questions, but I think the things that were revealed to us in the end really brought the story together. You know, there were several different point of views. We have Everen, we have Arcady, we have this woman called Soren. I really like Soren's point of view. I think she gave a very different perspective of the world that they're in, because she is kind of living as this like priest, but we see that she's being manipulated by this man who has like kind of looked after her for a very long time, and his name is Magnes. And Magnes is very sketchy. I peeped that immediately. I said, you're a sketchball, you're a manipulator, you're weird, right? You're very sketchy, you don't have good intentions here. So, and then, you know, we get a Magnes chapter at the end of the book. We get one of his point of views. Wow, I mean, that plot twist, I wasn't expecting that plot twist at all. I won't say what it was, but wow, it was, I did not expect that. Maybe, okay, I don't know if you think the book was predictable. I'm not good at like predicting where it's gonna go. Maybe I'm just predictable, I don't know, but I'm not good at that. Like, I don't know, like, there were points where I was like, oh, this person's gonna betray this person, but then they had earned their trust back and then they betrayed them again. So it was just like, oh, I wasn't expecting that either, you know? So there were a few parts of the end that I was just like, like, and that's what I want to feel out of a book. I want to be like shocked. I want to be like gripping the book, not wanting to put it down, you know? And I didn't really feel like that until the end of this book. So I do think like it was a little bit slower paced in terms of plot at some points, but it's a fun read. It's really fun. I think it's different. I think it's interesting. I think it's new. I think it like challenges, you know, a lot of the fantasy books that we see today. Yeah, I think it's different. I think it's really unique. And I think that the magic system is obviously super unique. I think the ending really sets us up for the next book in the series. Oh, there's like, I feel like there's so much I left out of the book, but it's like, you just gotta read it. You have to read it for yourself. There are so many, like, the plot, I know I said, I'm like scratching myself. I know I said the plot can be a little slow, but it's really building up for something more. It's building up for something greater. So if you have the patience, if you have the willpower to push through some of the slower parts, then I think you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see my vision, I'll see your vision, we'll see their vision, the vision will be seen. It's time for discussion questions. Oh, comment down below what you rated the book, right? Let me know if you're still reading it. Let me know if you're gonna go and pick it up from the library, whatever, you know, if you're gonna buy the book. I saw some really cool special editions. I guess this was an exclusive edition. As you can tell, it's like painted, it's gorgeous. But I saw a hardcover that actually had like the dragon, it was red, and then I think the black dragon was like stamped in the book. Looked cool. What did I rate the book? I am giving this 4 stars. Yeah, I'm confident in that. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Whose point of view did you enjoy reading the most? I think it was Soren. I really liked Soren's character. I thought she provided a different perspective from what we were seeing going on with the other characters, since she was in like a much different situation. What did you think of the romance between Arcady and Everen? And, you know, what did you think of their bond, right? I thought that the bond was a little bit confusing at first, like we talked about. I think by the end of the book, the bond, I got it, you know, that clicked with me. I would hope to see more of it. That's all I'll say. I would hope to see more of it. I think that it was very interesting, and I feel like we didn't get enough. Like, one of the aspects is that they can speak to each other mind to mind, which I thought was really cool. But I think that could go so much further, right? And as for their romance, I loved it. I ate it up. I thought it was so good. I love a slow burn though. Yeah, I love a slow burn. Also, we talked about this, they can't touch. They can't touch because what happens when they touch is that the other one, because this bond isn't fully formed, the other one can like basically steal all the other one's magic. Thought that was cool. So yeah, the magic system is very unique. The bond is very interesting. The romance is good. In terms of spiciness, I think there were maybe only like 1 or 2 kind of spicy scenes, but I didn't think that they were anything too crazy, you know? But it's good tension. I think the tension is really good. It's more of a focus on tension and like getting to know the characters. I think the character growth in this book was phenomenal. So next, did you find that the plot tied together in the end? I think the plot, like I said, I think the plot really tied together in the end. I still have questions, obviously, but we're supposed to have questions. But I have a very strong feeling that those will be answered in the next book or 2. So that's good. Okay, next. What do you think are Magnes's ultimate goals? I don't want to spoil that, because that is like, if you haven't read the whole thing yet, that is like a major, you know, when they're developing his character, you know that he's manipulative, you know that he's like controlling, and you know that he has this like bigger motive, right? We don't necessarily know what that is, but something is revealed to us about his character at the end, which I was not expecting. I did not see that coming at all. And I thought I knew what their goals were. Power. I mean, isn't that any evil character's goal, is just to gain more power? But now that with this revelation, I can't say that that is the ultimate goal of our character Magnes. So I don't know, let me know what you think down below. You know, these questions will be on my Instagram story, and they will also be in my highlights, and then they will in my book club highlight, and then they'll be maybe I'll leave them in the description in case you want to answer them in the comments. You know, that could be fun. I'm still trying to figure out a way to be more involved in this. I want people to be able to be more involved in this, but it's like I'm still trying to find the balance in my own life for this. So we're still trying to figure out where all of this is going and what I want to do with this. But last question, what do you expect / what do you want to see from the sequel? I have some questions. I want my questions answered, okay? More importantly, the people call Arcady's father the plague bringer, right? Like, so there's a lot of animosity towards their family, but Arcady's not necessarily this like target because they've changed their name. So that's what the whole like spell thing was about. I want to know more about Arcady's family. I want to know more about this like plague. I want to know more about the struck, right, and their plight. The struck is what happens to those who get this plague called the strike. Oh, I have a description here. It says, struck. Those who survived the strike often have black markings following their veins because they are believed to be more susceptible to turning into a startling. The struck have their seals confiscated and replaced with marble. I believe that is what happened to Arcady. That's what they did with the spell. Oh, and then the definition of starveling is someone who has used too much magic without adequately fueling it with food, meaning they briefly lose sense of themselves and seek only to eat and consume, even if it means attacking or killing a fellow human. So it's pretty fucking crazy. Pretty crazy. So, oh, yeah, that's where I was going. But in the next book, I want to know more about this other kingdom, Jask, right? And so this says that Jask is the land to the south who believe dragons are demons, not gods, and who were historically often at war with Lochmeria. Loch is the main setting of Dragonfall. This world Loch used to be Lochmeria. They were joined with Lochmeria before the schism. And the schism was the coup that resulted in the death of Lan the Ignited. I believe that's one of the dragons. Yeah. I don't know. Actually, Locmiria breaking into 2 countries 27 years before the start of Dragonfall. So, yeah, I don't know. There's parts that are still very confusing to me, but basically what I was saying is in the next book, I would like them to go to Jask. I want to know more about their culture because, you know, it's described as, you know, this other place that they're in, Locke, is a gender fluid society. And I hope that they explore this more, but in this like culture of the dragons, they view maleness as something inherently like bad and evil and like rotten. So I think that was a very interesting topic of discussion. And just the discussion of gender overall throughout the book was fascinating. I think it provided a really good grasp on how that world views the concept of gender, right? I don't know. Very cool. So this Jask is more like gender normative. So I think that is really fascinating. I'm interested to see what happens when they travel to Jask, if they travel to Jask. I hope that they do. I would like to see more of that plot being involved, because they are essentially the bad guys, right? It's like they're the bad guys, but then we also have this like Magnes character who is clearly up to no good. So I enjoyed reading the book. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a really fun read. I think it's pretty short. It's only, if you're looking for a quick read, you could probably get this done in a few days. I slowly read it over time, but there's only 334 pages. It was great. I thought it was wonderful. Again, I gave it 4 stars. I'm so itchy. I don't know what's going on, but I need to fix this. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining Book Club Month 2. If you didn't join Book Club Month 2, that's fine. I hope that you left this video with a new book recommendation, if anything. So, or a desire to read, to pick up a book in general. I think that's great. If you want to join my book club, you're more than welcome to. I'm still trying to figure out where it's going, what I'm doing with that, but how involved I want to be, unless I just want to be like, here's the book, read it, I'll get back to you in a month. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it was this month. Maybe this next month I'll be more involved. We shall see. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. I'm like ending the vlog, but I need to tell you what our book of the month is for August. Our theme, as you may know, we have a theme for every book. So for the first month of June, our book was, what was it called? Oh, The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. And it was, the theme was Regency era, Bridgerton vibes, right? It was a book about like Bridgerton style pirates, which was fun. That was a fun read. I listened to it on audiobook, which was different. I like never listen to audiobooks, but more of a reader. I like to be able to annotate and stuff. That's great. But so month 2, July, this month, that was dragons. It was dragon themed for House of the Dragon. So if you can't tell, there's been a theme with like the TV shows I've been watching. And for August, there's no correlation with theme for TV shows, so it's different. It's entirely new. You might not be expecting it, but I think our theme perfectly aligns with the month of August, and that is circus, carnival, right? We're doing it like a carnival vibe. And our book for this month is called Caraval. I don't know which is which. Let me know. Yeah. That's the book we're doing this month. You can go and pick it up from Barnes & Noble. I'm pretty sure they have it at Target. It is the first book in a trilogy. And this trilogy, I can't believe I haven't read it yet. This trilogy has so many raves, ratings, and reviews. People loved these books. So I'm excited to start it. I'm excited to annotate it. I'm so excited. We're going to go to Barnes & Noble soon and get that in the next day or two. As I'm recording this, it is July 27th. I'm determined to get this book up, I'm determined to get this video up before the end of the month and not the end of the first week of the month. So, thank you for joining. This was fun. I'll see you guys again later. You can follow me on Instagram. You can join my book club. I'll be posting more about books on my YouTube channel in the future. I'll see you soon, I guess. Yeah. Okay, bye.